Is US heading towards recession? Why reciprocal tax has been rolled back for 3 months? Hi, this is Anik Mitra. I'm a SEBI registered investment advisor. In this video, we will try to delve into those factors and data set which will help us to understand what is the possibility of US to move towards recession. We will talk on various data points, where India stands, where US stands, what would be the impact on India if US goes towards recession, what are the factors which can drive US into recession, and why this reciprocal tax has been rolled back. Obviously, we will try to deep dive into those factors and break down in terms of data. So without wasting time, let's start. And one request to all of you, please stay tuned till the end for getting some value added input. And please don't forget to subscribe my channel for getting this type of interesting videos. Well, so without wasting time, let me take you into my screen first so that I can share some set of data which will speak lots of words in terms of the current scenario. So this is the data set of US. Okay, so this is the data set of US. Just a moment. This is the data set which says how much in 2024, what is the trade deficit of US with some specific countries. What is the trade, if there is a trade surplus, that is also there. I will come to those points step by step. How much was the import from that particular country to US? How much has been exported to that particular country by US? So that will give us total trade deficit or trade surplus, whatever it is. And accordingly, we will discuss on those points. The first in the table top, China is getting reflected, correct? China is to top in the table with highest trade deficit of $270 billion. So it's huge, right? It's $270 billion. I have just intentionally removed the billion term for ease of calculation. So it's all in billion, dollar billion. So $270 billion of trade deficit, where US imported 401 billion from China and exported only 131 billion to China. Mexico stands second, where import from Mexico is even higher at 466, 467 billion, but export was also significant, that is 309 billion, resulting to 157 billion of trade deficit. This is second country after China. Third one is Vietnam, 113 billion of trade deficit, where 124, 125 billion has been imported and export is hardly anything. Where India stands, India is little bit on the downside, $41 billion of trade deficit with India, where US imported 80 billion and exported 38, 39 billion. So India and China relation is like India exported 67 India exported 67%, means with India 67% is contributed by import and 33% has been contributed by export. So let me further break it down. In 100 rupees of overall trade, 67 rupees has been spent towards import and 33 rupees has been earned from export with India. This is the relation with India. When this equation comes with China, out of 100 rupees of trade, 75 rupees has been spent towards import and 25 rupees has been earned only from export with China. So I hope you understand this relation. Although the relation with in percentage term, relation with Vietnam is huge. It's 91%, followed by Ireland at 86%, because like in Vietnam and Ireland, hardly any export is there, very minimal uh, compared to the overall export. Sorry, compared to overall import. And if we go down this particular list, we will find who are in the trade surplus. You'll be very surprised. US is trade surplus with Netherlands. Highest trade surplus with Netherlands, where 50 US dollar, 50 billion US dollar of trade surplus is there with Netherlands, where US imported 31 billion and exported 82 billion. So how it is possible? Let me tell you. Netherlands is not a great importer in that sense for their own consumption. Whatever import comes to Netherlands, rather in a different way. Let me frame it in this way: if US exports to Netherlands, that is not for Netherlands' own country. Netherlands is the gateway of entire Europe. So whatever comes to Netherlands, that is basically exported from means Netherlands. It is imported to Netherlands first, and then Netherlands exports it to entire Europe. So Netherlands is the gateway of US goods towards entire Europe, and that's why Netherlands is surplus. Netherlands itself is not a very big consumer. This is one. Another one country is there. I am unable to find it out. That is Singapore. Singapore does the same for Asia. So now the question is, if we check now, what is the agenda of Donald Trump? Donald Trump is asking to balance the trade, means there must not be any trade deficit. At trade sub, he's expecting trade surplus. Now, with which commodity, which goods you want to make a trade surplus? What is the basket of products he produce and can export? Now the problem is, whatever the product you can find, will find that they are importing, because US has very minimal manufacturing in their of their own. US has, means let me tell you, manufacturing has only 10% of contribution to their entire GDP. Only 10% of contribution towards their GDP. And the US is mostly a service economy. So you will find that if US is a service economy, then hardly matters with 10% manufacturing. We can ignore the 10% impact of on 10% of manufacturing. They can run their economy quite well with the service industries, but it is not possible. Why it is not possible? Because you are saying whatever they are manufacturing, but whatever they are consuming, think from that point of view. Their own consumption, for whether it's running for their own manufacturing industry, or whether it is their I would say their retail consumption, everything is dependent on import. So you understand, they are the service economy contributes 10% only. That means they are heavily dependent on import. They have hardly means very small contribution of means small number of small categories of products what they are manufacturing compared to whatever they are basically importing. Now let's consider category wise. Category wise, if we see, you will find that this machinery, nuclear reactors, boilers, all this comes at the top. This is the biggest importer in the country. In 2024, they have imported 531 billion, followed by electrical and electronic component at 485, 486 billion dollar. Then vehicles, $391 billion, minerals, 251 billion, and pharmaceutical, very importantly, 212, 213 billion. Now the question is, in with this type of import dependence, how US can think on balancing trade. Now the question is, see, basically US wants to balance this trade with their crude, with their natural gas, which is the big contributor to their economy. Now, if they consider that they will balance their trade with China with this crude and natural gas, then it is difficult. Why? Because Russia is in a competitive position, in a better geographic uh, position from China rather than US. Because if they want to import from US, that will be costlier. China and Russia are adjacent. So taking crude and natural gas, whatever is required from Russia, Russia is one of the major producer of those energy basket. We all know that. Now, when China will obviously think over their financial benefit. So there will be a huge logistics cost involved importing from US rather than proximity with Russia. So importing from Russia is always cheaper, and the diplomatic relation of China and Russia is also another fact why China will never switch towards US from Russia. If they require additional, that additional also will be consumed from or procured from Russia. So this is the scenario. Diplomatic, geographical, on all terms, Russia is in a better position to trade with China than US. Now we all know that this tariff has been rolled back for 3 months, and barring China, because China has been levied 125%, around 125%. So it's a very hefty, and it means trade with China is no more possible. It means if your product is uh, means 2 times, 3 times costlier, then it does not make sense to import it. It will not be at all viable, and you cannot produce it within your country also. Now the problem is, if US retaliates with the whole world, like why this? The question is why the tax has been rolled back. Now think from that aspect. If earlier we have seen US had a close ties with European countries, Europe, Eurozone, Euro area, they had a close ties, and they always like that coalition always stood against that Russia, China, all like this particular coalition. But this time, Donald Trump is, what should I say? Like Donald Trump is fighting with everyone, irrespective of their coalition and all. Donald Trump has retaliated with European countries as well. Now, one country, if the import also can be diverted from China to other countries, that is possible. But if they retaliates with everyone, then from where they will import? And the substitute is not available in their country. They cannot manufacture of their own. And just think one thing: for running any facility, for running life, your power is essential, right? Power is essential, whether it is nuclear, whether it is your service facilities, whether your daily life, whether you running your manufacturing facilities, whatever it is, power is essential. Now they have crude, they have natural gas. With that, they can run their own power plants. Their power plants are ignited with natural gas and nuclear facilities, nuclear capacities. Now the problem is, for running that nuclear capacities, you need nuclear reactor. For running those power plants ignited with natural gas, you need boilers. But do you produce boiler? Do you produce nuclear reactor within your country? No, you import it, right? So if you retaliate against everyone, then who will supply you these boilers and nuclear reactors? And for facilities who are running their facilities, for them also consuming those reactors and boilers at 100%, 200% higher cost will not be feasible. And if you become like if it becomes mandatory for you at any cost to import, even paying 100% duty, then you can understand where the power cost will be, where power cost will go up. And if power cost goes up so high, you understand that each and every industry, each and every individual person, each and every families will be badly impacted. Inflation will shoot up, and once inflation will shoot up, you your uh, your economy will tumble, no doubt of it. And along with that, you just think from that aspect, what is the growth driver of your economy? Whatever your economy is running mainly on import. Now, whatever small export you are doing, your service economy, everything will be stalled. So who will drive your growth? So naturally, US will head towards recession. There is no other option. Now, many houses are saying with 125% tax on China, and even after rolling back taxes from other countries, there is a 65% possibility that US will head towards recession. Now, India has, what is the India stand? India has a competitive advantage in this scenario when the tax has been imposed on China. There is a tax imposed on China, and India has no additional tax. So this is the most favorable scenario for India, but simultaneously we have to understand one thing, that if US is heading towards recession, then it can have some impact on the global economy. There could be a ripple effect. There could be a ripple effect, and US is the very big market for China, and that route gets blocked. In that case, China will start dumping all over the world beyond US. Obviously, whatever the additional produce will be there, they will, like what they used to dump in US, that they will start hunting for other destinations for dumping those products. So what will happen? India will find it difficult in the export market. They have to compete because China has a cost-effective solution. China produces cheaper products than India just because of a few factors. One is cheap labor, many raw materials available within the country, and also the deliberate devaluation of their currency. Now, from that aspect, China will have some competitive advantage in the international market. But the positive thing is, trade relation is not changed immediately. Number one, India can capture additional market from US, additional market from China in the US. Rather, a big chunk of the market can be switched towards India. But it's too early to decide that it has been taken place, because it's for 3 months. Unless this 1 quarter, 2 quarters, will not be able to understand where we are heading towards, because these decisions are very volatile. Today imposing something, tomorrow rolling back, again imposing something. So there is no stability, and it's insane. Like every day coming out with a new policy, imposing, uh, rolling back, again imposing. So it's insane. And in this scenario, it's really difficult for us being in the market, stock market. It becomes really very difficult for us, rather everyone, to interpret, because you never know, when the change will take place, when the change will come. And along with the policy changes, everything, like the entire future of the economy, will also keep on changing. Now the thing is, where India stands. I said from few industry's point of view, at current stage for 3 months, we will be able to understand what would be the impact if China's tax has been rolled back. So it's too early to conclude anything. We have to closely watch, and then uh, we have to, like, we'll be able to give some uh, thoughts over there. Now, possibility, as far as possibilities are concerned, if like, what would be the impact if China has not been rolled back? China, that 125% tax remains as it is on China, and like whatever has been rolled back remains as it is. So what would be advantage of India? Obviously, India will have an advantage for them, for those companies who are doing business in US. For them, it's very good. It's a massive opportunity for them to secure new orders and getting more orders over there. This is one. Secondly, the companies who are exporting outside US, for them, we have to be very cautious. We don't know how Chinese export diverting from US to other countries and can take away uh, their market from India. That is something we have to closely watch, because this is a new scenario, obviously. So we have to gradually understand. This is number two. Number three, another one factor. What would be the impact of uh, this tax on China? 125% tax on China. What will be the impact on US? So as I said, some experts are saying, some economists are saying, some houses, famous houses are saying there's a 65% probability that US will head towards recession with tax only with China. So if US moves towards recession, then again their consumption story will be weak. Indian own manufacturing, own consumption story is very strong. And if the impact from the outside, because most of the companies are focusing domestic, and who are focusing export market, many, like most of them, those companies, handful of the companies are uh, like getting more business from India. Like they have more than 50% revenue coming from India and less from US. Or let's say, let's rest like less from the uh, rest of the world, like outside India, you would say, from export. Only a few companies are there, few pharma companies, few here and there, few companies are making revenues, like more revenue from the export market, or those number is less. Indian market is, like, there is no problem in the Indian market. That is something we have to understand. India is a good market, and the companies, it's a very strong consumption story. So it will be absolutely okay. And if there is no impact of US, then absolutely fine for, means there will be no global impact. And if there is no global impact, absolutely fine for companies who are focusing in India. Now, problem will be, like, now US, if US with taxing China heads towards recession, then US economy will be weaker. And obviously, being a service driven economy, the service industry also will get some impact, because you understand that this service economy, let's say the companies who are running their IT firms over there, that is the main chunk of the IT service economy in US. So companies who are running their IT services, they, if you check their breakup of their revenue, what we will find, that we will find uh, maybe 30%, 40% is coming from banking. Some 10-12% is coming from retail. Some 7-8% coming from pharmaceutical. Some percentage is coming from capital goods. In that, now, if US moves towards recession, all these industries will be impacted. And if industries get impacted, then your economy, like the companies who are dependent on those sectors, they also will get impacted. Means the service industry will be badly impacted because they will not get orders, discretionary spending will be postponed, orders will be delayed, there will be backlog, everything will, like, it will be a big problem. It will be a big problem. So it will not be a very good situation, very favorable situation for US companies, for IT companies in US, if US heads towards recession. So that is the thing where India stands. India as a standalone, absolutely fine. Indian companies doing business in US, they will get advantage if scenario remains as it is. And Indian companies who are focusing outside US in the export market, for them, we have to understand the entire transition. No one knows. Even unless this 3 to 6 months, uh, companies also will not be able to, I don't think that management also will be able to assess the impact. So it will be too early to conclude anything at this juncture. But now I have to conclude this video. With this, I hope I have conveyed you this message that we have to go slower and need a close watch on the developments, because these insane decisions keeps on changing every alternative day, and it's a big threat for us to take decisions. So go slow. There is no other option. We have to closely watch and listen to what people from the ground, means the management of the companies, are speaking. Will come out with their views, opinions in various industries. I'm in touch with many management. Fourth quarter result is on the way, and obviously I believe that I will get opportunity to listen to many management, will question to many management. So obviously I will come out with further videos to give you many insights. So that's it in this particular video. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel, and thank you for your valuable time. Best of luck and take care. Thanks.